Is your music career not heading in the right direction? Well, here are some mistakes you're probably making and you need to start avoiding today. Every one of us that's been in this music industry for a few years, even a few months, you'll know that there are talented musicians out there that aren't getting the break they deserve. Perhaps you're actually one of these musicians. You have amazing music, but no one really cares. Have you ever searched it before? Have you ever searched, why do musicians fail? Yeah, no one's really giving you an answer. So in this video, I'm going to answer it for you. I'm going to tell you 5 major mistakes that musicians are making every day in their career. So I'm hoping once you've got these 5 mistakes in your head, you'll be able to clarify whether you're doing these things and change, or actually just avoid them. I'm not going to cover all the basic stuff. I mean, I'm sure you know that you need good quality music and, well, you need to be a decent human being, because no one wants to be a fan of an absolute douche.
It's funny because it's true.
So I'm not going to cover all that stuff. You guys can work that out yourself. This is going to be 5 mistakes that you probably didn't even know you were making. Let's start with number 1. Expecting things to happen. How many of you have made an absolutely amazing track, released it, and expected it to blow up? You're not alone. The majority of musicians expect their next song to blow up. That's just not the case. You can't expect things to be handed to you on a plate. This industry is so competitive. There are over 40 million songs on Spotify, so you're competing with millions of others. It's about 60% music, 40% marketing. If you don't have that high quality music, the marketing is pointless. But then if you do have that high quality music and you're not marketing it, it's not going to get heard. To avoid this one, you need to be putting in the time. If someone asks you to go on a night out with them when you should be practicing, choose to practice. The most successful musicians are the ones that love the process. They love creating music, getting it out there to the masses, engaging with their fans. They don't care about anything else. They've fallen in love with the journey, and once you've done that, nothing becomes a task anymore. So don't expect things to happen. Instead, work for it every day. And then when you actually reach your goals, it will feel so amazing. The next mistake that many musicians are making is with their branding. And this mistake isn't doing the wrong branding. It's just not having any branding. If you're just releasing music and you're not doing anything else, you won't have a brand. And in this day and age, your brand is everything. And your brand is basically your social media presence. Let's look at Lewis Capaldi. Lewis Capaldi is blowing up on the socials. He's gained about 600,000 followers in the last 6 months. And he was #1 in the UK charts for 7 weeks straight. Everything that has happened in his music career has been because of his branding. Your branding needs to be on point. Work out what you want your image to be, what you want your social media content to be, what personality you're portraying, because your branding can be the #1 thing to take you to the next level. The third mistake that musicians are making is they're not adapting with the times. In the last 10 years, the music industry has changed dramatically. No one's buying music, everyone's on digital streaming platforms, they're on social media, music magazines are dying slowly, and musicians are making money from merch, ticket sales, and brand collabs. This is nothing like it used to be. People would go out and buy vinyls, cassettes, CDs, and they would buy music magazines to find new artists. But that's just not the case anymore. So those musicians that are stuck in the past and they're using these traditional methods to promote their music aren't going to succeed. Are you still trying to sell your music, but then also putting on digital streaming platforms? A lot of musicians are, but what's the point? If people can get music for free, why would they pay for it? You need to instead find those different streams of income and take advantage of them. The main thing that you need to be focusing on is getting music out there, getting on those digital streaming platforms, getting a social media presence, and having an engaged audience, because then the labels will be running towards you. This modern music industry is pretty complex, so I've done a full video on it, which I'll make sure to link below, and it outlines all the different parts of the industry that have changed and how you can take advantage of it. Another thing that musicians are doing, which is a big mistake, is obsessing over their image. This is a real pet peeve for me. I find it so frustrating because if you haven't got that success yet, why are you so obsessed with your image? We see a lot of artists focusing so much on being serious and no one taking the piss out of them, but then they haven't got an audience to take the piss out of them anyway. Who cares if you've got a full-time job outside of the music? Who cares if you're playing to a room of 3 people? You should be focusing on anything you can to get your music out there, instead of focusing purely on what other people think. The more you focus on what people think about you, the more you'll get into this cycle of trying to prove to them that you're successful, but then not actually being successful. Enjoy your own personal journey, and you'll find that in time you are getting that success. No one wants to follow a faker. No one wants to follow someone that's saying that they're filling arenas and they're doing this, this, and this, when really they're sat at home in their mum's place. Be humble, enjoy the journey, and you won't regret it. The last thing that a lot of musicians are doing, and it's causing failure in a lot of musicians' career, is finding excuses. Money, parents, full-time job, Spotify not paying them enough. All of these things are stuff that people come to us with constantly, saying that they're not going to succeed because of these issues. But the only reason you're not going to succeed is because of what you're doing. With the creation of music, the distribution of music, social media, digital streaming platforms, there is so much opportunity for musicians in this day and age. So you can't point fingers at anything else. It is so easy to blame Spotify because they're not paying artists enough. It is frustrating, but it's how music is listened to now. So instead of blaming them and pulling your music off Spotify, work with these platforms to develop. If you want to be a successful musician, you need to completely destroy any hurdles in your way. Because these hurdles are designed to find the real musicians, the ones that are actually going to succeed. Because, for example, if you get your new track, you show it to all your friends and they tell you it's absolutely rubbish, and then you just stop there. You say, oh, I'm not good enough, I'm not gonna release music anymore. That proves that you didn't even love the music enough anyway. And really, you should be doing it for yourself. You should be creating music for yourself and for other people to enjoy. And so you can see that all of these points kind of match up. You can't find excuses because you're obsessed with your image. Your branding needs to be on point because you have adapted with the times. And you can't expect things to happen by making excuses. All of these things work together to make you a successful musician. So what do you think of these? Do you make these 5 mistakes? If you make any of these mistakes, comment, yes I do, and then say the one that you do. And if you don't make any of these mistakes, comment, no I don't, and explain what mistakes you do think you're making. I hope you found this video useful and that you can use these 5 mistakes to make sure that you're avoiding all of them or adapt the actions that you're already taking. If you found this video useful, hit that like button, and if you haven't joined the community yet, make sure to subscribe and hit that bell so you're notified when we upload. We'll be back soon with more music marketing advice.